Hey there, have you been thinking about how you can provide activities for your students in case of a school closure due to the coronavirus outbreak or other natural disaster? In this video, I'm going to provide suggestions on screen-free activities your students can do at home. I have designed them so they don't need to use too many supplies at home in case there isn't a lot available. These ideas are meant to be used as extra activities beyond the core curriculum that you need to provide, whether you're a general education teacher or a special education teacher. I know that a lot of schools will be having students and teachers communicating through online, through Zoom conferencing, Google Hangouts. Maybe they already use Seesaw or Flipgrid in the classroom. And so these activities that I am providing are to be extra, because at some point the parents are going to be like, no more screens, no more computers, my kids need to do something not online. The audience or students that these activities are designed for are mild, moderate special ed students, or kindergarten through maybe about second grade general ed students. And I'm assuming students are able to copy or trace letters, words, simple sentences, numbers, and understand simple math facts. You, of course, can always adapt the activity to whatever you're working on in class. They just need simple materials at home, like lined paper, scratch paper. They can even use papers sitting around the house, whether it's paper bags or mail that they can repurpose. They can use past homework papers or class papers that they have done that have been sent home to keep. They do need pencils or pens. They might like to use markers or crayons or colored pencils. And optional is whether they want to use a phone or tablet or computer to make a video to send back to the teacher. This would be a common way to see that the students have been working on the projects, especially if you use Flipgrid or Seesaw or have some other way of sending videos or photographs back and forth. So here are my challenges for week 1. Okay, the first one is just taking part and making something they do around the house, like laundry, more academic. So this might be assuming the child is helping an adult or older sibling. Students can count out objects. If they can't count too high, then they can count out in groups of 5 or 10. And then they can turn those different groups into a math problem, like 5 plus 5 equals. Or you can put them into sets like you would be doing multiplication. You could have 2 sets of 5, and then that would be like 2 times 5 equals 10. You can also have younger students or students that don't do as much academics. They could be sorting the clothes. They could sort them by what person in the family they belong to. They can sort them by shirts, by pants. They can also maybe help fold some laundry. Maybe they haven't done that before. You could teach them how to do that. And then when you're all done, they can deliver the laundry to each person's room. And my video response or photo response is just have a student make a short video, 30 seconds, showing them taking some laundry to someone's bedroom, or they can show a short video on how to fold a shirt. And if they really don't know how to, it might be a really fun, cute video anyway. Okay, next, here's some ideas for comprehension. I am not going to assume that students have a lot of books at home, so I'm turning this into something they probably will do if they are at home, and that is comprehension while watching movies. So you can assign certain movies if you know students have subscriptions, or you could assign specific movies or video clips on YouTube if you know that they have some type of access on a phone or whatever. But I'm assuming that they just have some type of movie they can watch. And I would suggest just pausing every 10-15 minutes depending on their age and having the adult or sibling ask questions. What happened so far? Which character have we seen most in this segment we've watched? What have we learned about the character? What questions do you have that you don't understand while watching the movie so far? And what do you think is going to happen next? Things like that. You can come up with lots of other specific questions based on the movie that you're watching. And the photo video response here is the student could make just a quick 30-second or 1-minute video retelling what they saw in the movie, what it was about. Okay, next activity is for PE, trying to get kids active. I have this in a version for indoor and outdoor because we don't know what kids can do. Some kids live in apartment buildings where maybe they can't get outdoors, or maybe kids can. So you can, again, adjust it as needed. But for an indoor activity, you're going to have kids going to different rooms and then doing different activities in those rooms. And a fun way to do this is to make a list. Kids can help brainstorm, write, or trace words on a paper. And they will list the rooms in their house that they're going to use for this activity. And then they're also going to brainstorm some fun movements that they like to do. And so some of my examples that I gave would be once they pick something, pick a movement and pick a room, would be crawl all the way to the bathroom, or do jumping jacks in the kitchen, or hop to your bedroom, dance to music while you're in the dining room. And then my variation, if you can't do it outdoor, would be we'll number each corner of the yard instead of naming the different rooms. So then maybe they would go to corner number 1 and do jumping jacks for a minute. Or go to the other corner, or go over on the other side of where the cars are parked. Maybe you have a parking lot if you live in an apartment or something, and they can dance for a minute there. And again, it might be fun for students to make some type of video response. And also you can decide how long they're going to do something while they're in the area. Okay, if they're crawling to the bathroom, it's just however long it takes them to get there. But if they're doing jumping jacks in the kitchen, maybe they do that for 30 seconds. Maybe they do it for a minute. You decide as the teacher or as the parent or sibling. Next, this is really fun. This is a show and tell, and kids might want to do this and then share the video with their classmates. So for this one, the photo response or video response, they might make a little video talking about their object, and then depending on your situation, maybe the teacher will save those videos and show them when the students all come back, when the school is not closed anymore. Or maybe you have some online platform that you can share them with the class during the closure. Anyway, so for this week, for show and tell, have the student pick their favorite toy, have them put it on a table, and have them write a couple of sentences about it. Again, depending on their level, they might need help writing the sentence and then they trace it, or they can do it independently. And I have some ideas about what they can write about it, and then they can make a little video if you want them to. Okay, and this one's very important. Of course, we want to always encourage reading aloud every single day. And so this is pretty basic. You want them to be reading to adults or caregivers. If the students know how to read, they might be reading environmental print, like what's on a cereal box, or food containers, or mail, or anything laying around the house. Or also, we want the caregivers or older siblings to be reading to them, so they can also be reading those things, or pointing out words or things that you see while you're watching TV, or if you're out driving around. And then you can extend it by making up some sentences, or you can make a story about whatever it is that you are reading. Again, I'm assuming that they may not have a lot of books around, but of course, if there are books, we always want them to be reading those, but these are just some other ideas. Okay, the next one is making a matching game or a memory game. Students can cut up pieces of paper into small sizes, try to make them about the same size, and then if they're using spelling words, they'll need to write the words. Write one word on 2 pieces of paper, and then those are going to be used to be matched later. You can do the same thing with pictures, or if you don't want to do identical things to match, you can do something like write a vocabulary word on one piece of paper, and then on the connecting piece of paper, you would write the definition of that vocabulary word. Or maybe you would write a word on one paper, and then on another paper, draw a picture of that word. You could do the same thing with math problems. I hope these have been helpful and help you get your juices flowing so you can come up with more ideas that you can do for your students, especially if the school closure is prolonged.